a well, back with another video. I know I said I was gonna bring you this video today, so I decided, well, to hell with it, I'll bring it right now. Now, this video is an update for those who have been playing the game of Yu-Gi-Oh for so long already, and of course, um, the beginning guide for those who are barely gonna begin to play. And you can get one of these manuals inside a structure deck, which is not really hard to come across nowadays. Just go to your local Walmart and get yourself a structure deck. But for I'm gonna read through the entire thing for those beginning, and of course I'll just state what is new, what is not new for those who begun early but dropped out when a certain point came out. I'll be explaining a lot of things. So let's begin, shall we? This might be my longest video because I am going to be going through an entire rulebook. Okay, so new to dueling, here we go. This is what you need. Of course, this was when I got the Layer of Darkness structure deck. Of course, it tells you that all you need is a friend, and this deck, the deck that you get with this actually is ready to be played. All you need is a friend and a deck of their own. So you cannot be sharing the same deck. You both have to have your own deck of 40 cards each. 40 or more. The max you can use is 50. I'm sorry, 60. The second thing is each player starts with 8,000 life points. When a player takes damage, subtract that damage from your life points. If your opponent runs out of life points, you win the duel. The same goes if your opponent has no cards to draw whatsoever. If your opponent cannot draw, he loses. He loses automatically. Before you start, make sure you separate your purple fusion, white synchro, black exes, and dark blue link monsters from the rest of your from the rest of the cards in your deck. Put them in the spot that's marked extra deck. So on my mat here, you have your extra deck zone and your main deck zone. So this is where you put the main deck, which is 40 cards, and this is where you put your extra deck, which can only be up to um, which can only be up to, what was it called? Oh, yeah, which can only be up to 15. Now, as they mentioned before, there are um, exes, synchro, and fusion. So I'm gonna show you guys which those ones are. Assuming I can get them out. There we go. Okay, and of course I'll be showcasing my favorite out of all my favorite cards that I use the most for the showcasing when it comes to these cards. So, as a synchro, this is what a synchro looks like. And of course, it has its materials there, which is right above, which is tuner and non-tuner synchro. The Exes monster looks like this because it has the black outline and then, of course, the monster, the name, rank, and so forth and so forth. The fusion is like this, of course, it's purple. That's what a fusion monster would look like if you don't already know. And then, of course, the link, I would showcase Electromite, but I don't have the real Electromite, so I'm just waiting to order the real one, so this way I can use the real one. But I'm going to showcase Zephyr Metaltron, and that is what a link looks like. Okay, so now you know what those look like. And of course, they will be mentioning another monster, which I will be showcasing um, when it gets to that point, which I'll have it right there. Ugh. I hate it when mold gets on the sleeves. You usually use sleeves to usually use your sleeves to protect your card from mold. Okay, back to this. Okay, then next, shuffle your 40 card deck really well. Once both players are ready, you need to decide who goes first by flipping a coin, for example. So you could flip a coin, you could roll a dice, or you could just say, you know what, I'll just let you go first, or I want to go first, and if your opponent agrees, then good for you. Um, and of course, the winner gets to choose if they want to go first or not, first or second. Whoever goes first cannot draw or attack on their first turn, though, which you won't. Like, you go, it's the beginning of the game, and you wanted to go first. Well, you cannot draw and you cannot attack. I know a lot of people who tend to forget that they're going first and try to attack, and then we have to, the ones that have been playing the game for so long, or the ones who know exactly what they're doing, have to step in and be like, yeah, you can't be doing that. Now, next, you need to draw your top 5 cards. This is starting. This is your starting hand. Each player draws a card at the beginning of the first turn. At the beginning of the turn, except for the first player's first turn. Yeah, that's how it works. So you only draw one card. You don't draw multiples unless a card effect allows you to do so. After your turn, your opponent gets a turn. Then back to you again. You can only play cards from your hand during your turn unless it says otherwise. But you can use some cards on the field like traps during either player's turn, which is actually a good thing. Um, yeah, your opponent. If your opponent doesn't know that you're using traps, you. Oh man, you can easily bluff your way into an opponent. You can easily bluff your way out of a sticky situation. Know your monsters. Your monster's name, of course, this is Lilith, Lady of Lament. Then the monster's attribute would be right there, which she is a dark monster. Your monster's level or rank is specified by the number of stars. The monster type, which in this case she's a fiend and an effect monster. Your monster's attack points and defense points, which will be identified by ATK or DEF. And then yellow normal monsters have a description of the monster that is just for fun. It does not affect the game. Orange effect monsters have special abilities written here. Those powers are a big help during the game, which is actually true. They are truly a big help in the game. Moving in on how to summon. Okay, so normal summon. You can normal summon slash set one monster from your hand, and that's only once a turn unless a card effect says otherwise. When you normal summon a monster, place that face up monster on the field like this, so it shows it like that. Only an attack only attack position monsters can attack, so that's actually good. When you set a when you when you set put the monster face down sideways like this. That's called face down defense. Defense position monsters protect your life points from attack unless your opponent has a monster that allows his monster to do piercing battle damage. Button real fast. Okay, back to where I was. Okay, what's up? All right, 5 or 6. It needs 1 tribute. 7 or higher needs 2 tributes, unless specified by other um, effects. So special summon. There is no limit to a number of special summons you can special class set. Um, if the card does not tell you which battle position to special summon the monster, and you can choose face up attack or face up defense, and of course you when you special summon you can ignore tribute summon rules on page 5 instead just follow the instructions on the card or effect. And these are some examples of the cards that you can use to special summon. So pendulum summoning, which is another type. How to Well, I'll show you how to summon. So 6 phases. You draw a card. Standby phase only used when card mentions it. Main phase one meant for summoning, setting, or playing your spells and traps. Battle phase when you can make all the attacks you want. I'm just gonna skim through this. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna skim through it. Main phase two, you can play more spells, and if you haven't summoned a monster yet, this is your turn to do so. Or end phase, your turn is now over. Your opponent gets to draw during their standby phase. Standby phase, starting their draw phase. Okay. So, of course, monsters that are face up attack get to attack. Monsters that are in defense, whether face down or face up, don't get to attack. Flip summon on actually you can place a card face down, flip it. That's called a flip summon, whether it is a flip monster or not. And of course, flip monsters get a special ability by their flip effect. Going into attacking. So if you then your opponent's, um, you actually destroy your opponent's monster, and of course, your opponent takes the remaining damage. If your attack is less, your monster is destroyed and you take the damage. And if your attacks are equal, both monsters are destroyed and no life points is lost. Defense position, of course, your opponent's monster you attack, your opponent's monster is destroyed and no life points are lost. Your attack is less and you no monsters are destroyed and you lose life points. Or both monsters or the attack and defense are the same. Um, no life points are lost and no monster is destroyed. Uh, okay, so now you can switch your monster from face up attack. Also, at the turn, change its opposition if it was already changed. Then cannot change if it already attacked. Uh, well, how to play a trap? You set it during your opponent's turn to activate it, or during your next turn to activate it, whichever way you want it. Okay, so there are continuous and continuous them. They stay on as long as they're not destroyed the monsters, and monster connect turns spells you zone island spell here, um, which happens to be Sky Iris, and they don't go in the spell and trap zones here. They go to your deck. That's where they go. Shit. Oops. Okay. Um. Are indicated by the 7 3 is the grave. Um, 2 plus monster special summon from the extra deck, so that helps out a lot. Pendulum monsters They go inside the pendulum zones as shown there. You can special summon as many monsters from your field with the scale shown there. And of course, when a pendulum monster is destroyed, it does not go to the graveyard, it goes to the extra deck. Xyz monsters, you just use their recipe. Synchro monsters, you have to have a tuner and a non-tuner, but still use their recipe. All of these go to the graveyard. Fusion monsters, you have to use polymerization or anything that allows you to fusion summon with it. And then, of course, ritual will be used with a ritual spell card. Well, that is all for now, guys. I will be bringing